Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. This is a very personal story, and I want to share with you the painful journey of discovering my husband's affair. It's not just about the betrayal itself, but about the emotional roller coaster that followed, the hurt, the confusion, and the struggle to find healing. If you've ever dealt with infidelity or broken trust in your relationship, I hope my story can resonate with you, and maybe even help you find the strength to move forward. Let's dive in. Introduction. I used to believe that I had the perfect marriage. My husband, Daniel, and I had been together for over a decade, building a life full of shared memories, adventures, and love. We had our ups and downs, but like most couples, we managed to push through. Our love seemed unshakable, or at least that's what I thought. I felt safe in the belief that I knew everything about him, that he was my partner in every sense of the word. Then one day, my entire world came crashing down. I discovered something that would alter the course of my life forever. He had been cheating on me. The man I trusted, the man I thought I knew better than anyone else, had betrayed me in the worst way possible. The discovery. It started like any normal day, nothing unusual or out of the ordinary. We were in our home, the house we had bought together, surrounded by memories. I had a suspicion that something wasn't right, but I didn't have any concrete proof. It wasn't his actions that had changed, at least not immediately. He was still the man I knew and loved. But I had an uneasy feeling, an intuition that something was off. Maybe it was the late nights at work, or the sudden need for privacy he'd developed. Maybe it was the way he'd become more distant, emotionally unavailable. I wasn't sure what exactly triggered it, but one day, my gut told me to check his phone. I had never done that before. Trust was a key component of our relationship, and I had always believed that respecting privacy was part of that trust. But in that moment, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I found the messages. They were there, hidden between the mundane conversations and texts about work. There it was, flirty, intimate conversations with another woman. My heart stopped when I read her name. Sarah. She wasn't just someone he worked with. No, she was someone I had heard him mention before, a colleague. I had never thought twice about her, but the messages, the tone, they were different. He had been sending her sweet nothings, compliments, and even more intimate personal messages. It was clear that this wasn't just a friendship. This was something more. The shock hit me like a tidal wave. I couldn't breathe. I could barely think. Everything I had built my life on, everything I thought I knew about him, felt like a lie. I confronted him. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't calm. I felt betrayed, hurt, and angry. His eyes widened as he realized I knew. He didn't deny it. Instead, he apologized, telling me that it was a mistake, that it had been a one-time thing, that he was sorry, and that he didn't mean for it to happen. But no matter how much he apologized, the pain in my heart didn't go away. The emotional impact. In the days following the discovery, I found myself drowning in a whirlwind of emotions. I couldn't stop crying. I would lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. The anger I felt was almost suffocating. I wanted to scream, to lash out, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. All I could do was cry, and even that seemed to give me little comfort. I felt like I was losing my grip on reality. Everything I had believed to be true was now in question. What had happened to the man I married? Was everything we shared just a lie? I wondered if I had missed the signs, or if he had been hiding it from me the entire time. How long had this been going on? Were there other women? The worst part, though, was the overwhelming sense of betrayal. It wasn't just the physical act of cheating. It was the emotional betrayal. The fact that he had shared parts of himself with someone else. The fact that he had chosen to seek comfort, affection, and intimacy outside of our marriage. That hurt more than anything else. 2. The struggle to forgive. As the days passed, I found myself questioning everything. Should I stay and try to rebuild what we had? Or was this betrayal something that could never be undone? The idea of forgiveness seemed impossible. How could I ever trust him again? The thought of him with someone else was a constant ache in my chest. The images, the words, the emotions. They replayed in my mind over and over again. But then, I thought about our history. I thought about the years we had spent together, the good times, the laughs, the love we had shared. Did that mean nothing? Did I want to throw away all of that history? Could we move forward from this? The decision to forgive, if I ever made it, wouldn't come quickly. It would take time. It would take a willingness to work through the hurt, the anger, and the confusion. And I wasn't sure if I was ready to make that commitment. I tried to talk to him, to understand why it had happened, what had led him to cheat. He told me it was a mistake, that he was feeling disconnected from me, that he hadn't meant for it to get out of hand. I listened to his words, but they felt hollow. In the end, the question that haunted me was, why hadn't he come to me first? Why hadn't we worked through our issues together? As much as I wanted to forgive him, I realized that I couldn't just erase the hurt. The emotional scars were deep, and healing was going to take time, if it was even possible. 3. The road to healing. I spent weeks in turmoil. I talked to friends, I saw a therapist, and I did everything I could to try to find some kind of peace. The pain of betrayal didn't go away overnight, but with each day, I began to feel a little stronger. Slowly, I started to see things more clearly. I began to recognize that I wasn't just healing from his infidelity, I was healing from the hurt I had carried long before this moment. I realized that I had been neglecting myself. In the years of being a wife, a partner, I had given so much of myself to him that I had forgotten who I was outside of our relationship. I had to rediscover my own identity, to reclaim my sense of self-worth, and to understand that I deserved more than just an apology. I deserved respect, love, and loyalty. In the end, it wasn't just about whether or not I could forgive him. It was about whether I could forgive myself for letting myself stay in a relationship that didn't value me the way I deserved. Could I learn to trust again? Could I ever believe in love the way I once had? I began to understand that healing was a journey. It wasn't something that would happen overnight. There were good days, and there were bad days. There were moments when I wanted to walk away, and moments when I wanted to fight for us. But ultimately, I had to make the decision that was right for me. 4. What I learned. Looking back, I learned so much from that painful experience. Infidelity taught me that trust, once broken, is difficult, if not impossible, to rebuild in the same way it once was. But it also taught me about my own strength and resilience. It forced me to confront my own vulnerabilities and weaknesses, but it also gave me the opportunity to grow and to become the person I had always meant to be. I realized that I didn't need to rely on someone else to make me whole. I had to learn to be whole on my own first. And if I chose to stay with Daniel, I needed to make sure that it was because I wanted to, not because I was afraid of being alone or not knowing how to move forward. In the end, I chose to take things one step at a time. We decided to go to therapy together, to talk through our issues, and to try to rebuild something. Whether or not our marriage would survive, I didn't know. But I did know that I had to focus on healing, no matter what the outcome. Conclusion. This journey was the hardest thing I've ever gone through, but it was also the most transformative. I learned that even in the darkest moments, there is a light, whether that's within you or in the support of others. Betrayal cuts deep, but it doesn't have to define who you are. Whether you decide to stay or walk away, the most important thing is that you find peace within yourself. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone. The road to healing may be long, but it's worth it. And if you've experienced infidelity in your relationship, I want you to know that no matter what happens, your worth is not defined by someone else's actions. Thank you for listening to my story. I'd love to hear your thoughts or if you've gone through something similar. Feel free to leave a comment below. You are stronger than you think.